Technology, is what Jaggaer does best. The transformation continues even after we're gone. Velocity was able to help drive the changes to the process and to the people.
Let's get to it then.
Sounds good.
Give me the basics then. Tell me about Velocity and the partnership with Jaggaer.
Yeah, so Velocity is a management consulting firm. We're focused only on procurement and accounts payable. So the relationship with Jaggaer is an obvious one for us. As we look across people, process, and technology, is what Jaggaer does best. And so partnering with them allows us to look at the people and process as well as incorporate that technology.
Well, let's look at an example, if we can, a case study, a success story. How has this partnership helped some of the people you work with?
Yeah, so Jaggaer, one of Jaggaer's biggest differentiators is the fact that they address both direct and indirect. And so we've got a multinational North American organization that's got a number of locations that were part of an acquisition. And so the levels of maturity across procurement are varied. And so trying to centralize procurement as a whole was a big challenge for them. And so they brought in Jaggaer as well as Velocity. Jaggaer was able to really show their strengths in terms of the direct and indirect sides of procurement and the technology. Velocity was able to help drive the changes to the process and to the people to make that leap into the centralized procurement model.
Let's just sticking with that partnership, though, from a consultation point of view, if you are working with a partner such as Jaggaer, that relationship has got to be tight. When you're putting your name to that as something you're recommending, how crucial is that partnership when it comes to going out to clients to help them get the best from that partnership?
Yeah, it has to be really tight, as you said. So between pre-sales, into sales, and then the delivery and professional services, they all have to be aligned with the partner. And so Velocity, has insisted, as has Jaggaer, that we get in early in terms of the discussion, allows us to talk about our strengths and what we can control throughout the process with the client, and really collaborate to make sure that that is a long-term successful relationship. So it's not just about the three-legged stool of Jaggaer, Velocity, and the client. It is really, again, creating a lasting relationship that builds trust. And that's really how we help the client to be successful.
What I'm fascinated about, though, is how the transformation process works from day one, when you're getting into where the client is, the problems they're facing, taking them through that process to a positive end result. How does that relationship work? How does that transformation process work?
Yeah, so again, building trust initially during the understanding of the discovery phase of things. So when we're getting to know each other, getting to understand the business challenges, and really sort of explaining that back to the client that this is what we've heard so far, and continuing to just re-emphasize those business challenges as well as the success criteria that the client is planning for, and mapping to those success criteria factors. And it's really, the transformation continues even after we're gone in terms of doing the delivery of Jaggaer. So it's just continuing to build the trust, continue to talk to stakeholders, continuing to engage the team, and then collaboration is the key.
At the end of the day, it's all about how quickly you can get to that ROI. How do you accelerate that process from someone taking on board the shiny new tool that can help solve a whole load of problems, some problems they didn't even know they had potentially? How do you accelerate that process to reach that point of business benefit?
Yeah, a lot of organizations don't understand the impact of change management and into a formal change management program. And so they sort of dismiss it at first. And I think best in class organizations really embrace change management. So we start talking about that early in the relationship, driving adoption so that the tool is being used instead of just sitting there collecting dust. And that is always what we hear, especially in failed implementations of other systems, bringing Jaggaer in to replace that system. We have to emphasize that change management, that adoption effort, and then continuous improvement thereafter. So change doesn't stop just after the technology is put in place. It really continues on in changing the organization, changing the operating model, and realizing the need for various changes throughout the life cycle of the technology as well as the procurement organization.
You referred to it a moment ago as the three-legged stool, and I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Is there a secret to getting the best from that partnership? From your experience, when you've got that partnership between Jaggaer, yourselves, and a customer or client, which are the ones that really sing? Which are those partnerships that really deliver? What are the things that have to be in place to get the very best from that particular relationship?
Yeah, it's definitely open communication. So the communication between Jaggaer and Velocity is key, but also keeping the client informed, and then also within the client's organization, breaking down those barriers between the silos to make sure that organizations are talking within themselves. If you don't have that, you're set up for failure, because if you're just focused on procurement and not what the broader business goals of the organization are, and you don't align to those broader business goals, you're going to have significant challenges, really convincing the organization that they should all be using the tool in the manner that they need to.